Hello, we're going to do some learning. I'm going to be going through an Evoker healing process where we'll be talking about certain talents that will be required for leveling an Evoker. And we'll talk about some talents and stuff that will be very important. Here I have with me today is my dad. So I'll be teaching my dad how to play Evoker. So if you guys want to stick around for that one, that'd be awesome. And we're talking about stuff that'd be, super important when it comes to an Evoker. Alright, so this is my main Evoker. It is for a 19 item level. Super good. And that is from constant playing. A lot of things to cover on this beginner guide for Evoker. So I'll give you guys the best knowledge that I have. 4.5, 5 months, or even 6 months. I can't even remember. Would have started playing this character. I know as soon as it came out, I just wanted to play it. So, first of all, we'll go through this plain as day. So I'm just going to reset. We're not actually going to save this build. So what I'm going to do is start off talking about each individual ability and their potency, power. Okay. So first ability I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about the right side of the tree first, which is the preservation talent. We'll see all this cool stuff up here. So Echo, first one. Wrap an ally with temporal energy, healing them for 11,004 and causing your next non-echo healing spell to cast an additional time on that ally at 105% of normal healing. So already that sounds insanely powerful, does it not? What you need to see with grabbing Echo right now is a situation where Echo is insanely good. There is some stuff that we'll be talking about a little bit later, like Temporal Anomaly. And going into Resonating Sphere, which Temporal Anomaly applies Echo to a 30% effectiveness to the first 4 allies it passes through. And then we've got stuff like Timelord, which Echo replicates 50% more healing. Obviously, it's not 2 points in that, but we've got no points in it. So it says here 25% more healing. You can just see just how strong that it does. So it's the replication point of view that we're talking about. So let's say we get into a situation where we have Echo and then we have Verdant Embrace, okay? So the first cool thing that you want to look at is Echo and Echo and Verdant Embrace. So fly to an ally and heal them for 28,390 or heal yourself for the same amount, right? So let's close this for a sec. So go on ourselves and we go Echo. All right, so I have an Echo buff up here. When Daedra Flame casts a non-Echo healing spell, so basically what that means is another spell that's not an Echo. Okay, so if I do another Echo, it's not going to echo, right? It's just going to be Echo, and something that's not an Echo will be duplicated. So for example, if I Echo myself, and then I press Verdant Embrace, immediately, if I go straight over here to the combat log, we have Echo straight into Verdant Embrace. And why that's so good is because look at this. So we just had an Echo heal me. And then my Verdant Embrace healed me twice. You see what I mean? And look at the effectiveness here. And now we also got a tie-in. He's like, God, what the hell is this? Lifebind? Well, if you have a look down here, and I refresh the talents down here, but have a look down here at Lifebind. Verdant Embrace temporarily bonds your life with an ally, causing you healing on either partner to heal the other for 40% of the amount. So whenever you Verdant Embrace, it's also healing yourself again for more because you have Lifebinded yourself or your partner, right? And then they're getting healed each other for basically the 40% of the amount. So let's read it out. So Verdant Embrace temporarily bonds your life with an ally, causing your healing on either partner to heal the other for 40% of the amount. Okay? Which is insane if you think about yeah. All right, so let's go Echo and then Verdant Embrace, and immediately you have Lifebind on you, sharing 42% of the healing to an ally. And then here, another cool talent that we have is called Call of Ysera, which is over here. And Verdant Embrace increases the healing of your next Dream Breath by 40% or your next Living Flame by 100%. So, yeah, if you Verdant Embrace and then Dream Breath, now all of a sudden your Dream Breath is doing massive healing, every single tick. 8,000, 8,000. I was waiting for it to crit again. 8,000. 8,000. 8,000. I had 16,594. Yeah, so that's that. Anyway, let's refresh this and go through it anyway. But Echo basically just duplicates everything you do. So if you think of something that is a heal, it will duplicate it. Okay? Any heal that you do. And I can go through multiple examples, but just know that Echo literally just means a duplication. All right, so let's go through the tree. So we're going to Echo into Reversion. Reversion's another really powerful ability. Okay, so repair an ally's injuries, healing them for 28,000 over 15.6 seconds. And when Reversion critically heals, its duration is extended by 1.8 seconds, max 2 challenges. Okay, so you get 2 charges of that with another talent down below. Let's have a look at that in action. Okay, so yeah, that's just it by itself. All right, so I just press Reversion, put it on myself. You can see it working away right now. Let's go down here, Reversion, ticking away, and we'll look at it critting. Now, because it's critting, because of the amount of critical strike that I have, which isn't very much, you can see that the duration when it does critical heal extends it. Just to go again, let's see if we can get a crit. There it is, a crit, so it extended the duration. It crit again, so extended the duration. Now it's just going down normal again. Just wait for it to crit again. Overheal, critical again, see, extended the duration. And then extended the duration again. And it's just thinking it's going to fall off, crits again. See how it's like how awesome that spell is? It's pretty insane, hey? Like every time it crit, it just extends. All right, so that's another cool spell you can have a look at. And then over here we have a rewind. Okay, so rewind 50% of the damage taken in the last 5 seconds by all allies within 40 yards. So it always heals for at least 17,257, and healing is increased by 100% when not in a raid. So this is incredibly strong when you are in a dungeon and when you are in a raid. It is by far one of the strongest heals. But the thing is, a lot of people accidentally press it when it does literally nothing. Okay? There's your rewind. Look at that, quite weak, right? But if you really, really read into it, rewind 50% of the damage taken in the last 5 seconds.
Yeah, so if you haven't taken any damage, it's not going to do it.
Exactly. So if you take no damage, then you absolutely just wasted your spell there. So if if in a raid scenario, and I will insert something in this section, if you are in a raid scenario and you see everybody just dip 50% of their health, this will guarantee that you healed everybody for 50% of the damage taken in the last 5 seconds in that raid group.
Just brings them back to full health.
Absolutely. It is like one of the most powerful, potent healing spells that an Evoker has. And by God, you need to pick that up. It's insane for all raiding scenarios. Temporal Anomaly. Now everything has got echoes on it. Now I haven't explained this section yet, but if we have a look at Temporal Anomaly, send forward a vortex of temporal energy absorbing 13,000 damage, so that's an absorb shield, and any allies in the path absorption is reduced beyond 5 targets. But here, if we have a look at the next talent, literally down the next one, Temporal Anomaly applies Echo at 30% effectiveness to the first 4 allies it passes through, but then we have a look at the Timelord, Echo replicates 25% more healing. Okay, so now Temporal Anomaly is throwing out those echoes. Done. And they also got an absorption shield for 21,000 of their health. So now that they have this echo rolling on them, it says here 45% of the healing will be replicated. So now, when we Verdant Embrace, you see how all the allies now have Lifebind on them? So any healing that I do to myself will be replicated to any ally that has Lifebind on them because of the healing that I'm doing to myself. So in that scenario, when you Temporal Anomaly, and then you do this, and you see how immediately Emerald Communing And the Communion is healing them all because they all have Lifebind on them. And that Lifebind is like, okay, another spell I haven't talked about yet. Emerald Communion. Commune with the Emerald Dream, restoring 20% of health and 2% mana every 0.9 seconds for 4.4 seconds. And overhealing is transferred to an injured ally within 40 yards. Castable while stunned, disorientated, incapacitated, or silenced. So meaning if you're silenced, if you're stunned, if you're blinded, or anything in between, Emerald Communion does not care. You can use that anytime. Oh, I'm about to die. He just stunned me. Bang. Emerald Communion. You're smooth sailing. It's such a beautiful spell. Emerald Communion. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but Emerald Communion is one of those things that is a powerful raid healing ability, but we've recently just been nerfed with the amount of echoes that we can throw out that Temporal Anomaly. Okay. Because Resonating Sphere used to give to 6 allies it passes through, but it now only gives it to 4 allies, which was the major nerf that we received, which has drastically affected our Lifebind healing through Emerald Communion. Okay. Now, to make things even better, we've got other spells. Anyway, Temporal Compression. I was talking to my dad about this earlier. So each cast of the bronze spell causes your next empower spell to reach maximum level in 5% less time, stacking up to 4 times. So in total, that ends up being 20% less time. Okay, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's go down here. We got Spiritbloom. Divert spiritual energy, healing an ally for 46,629. Now, with the example I talked about before with Lifebind and the Emerald Communion, well, the same thing can be done with Lifebind and then Spiritblooming just yourself, right? For 46,700. Okay, and it splits the injured allies within 30 yards when empowered. So if you empower this up, it goes to a second ally and a third ally, and so on and so forth. There's other talents that actually do change it in the future. But needless to say, Spiritbloom is absolutely a must. You guys have a look at this spell here. Essence Burst. Living Flame has a 20% chance to make your next Essence ability free. Okay, and it stacks up to 2 times. And the reason why it stacks up to 2 times is by this very next talent called Essence Burst stacks 2 times. Now, this is a really good talent. And I agree that most of the time it really should be picked because it allows you to pool your Essence Burst stacks. Okay. So let's go down here. Now we've got Time Dilation. So stretch time around an ally. Another very, very powerful spell. Stretch time around an ally for the next 10.4 seconds, causing 50% of the damage they would take to instead be dealt over 10.4 seconds. Like absolutely massive Time Dilation. It is so strong. So if you're about to take like a big 400k hit, or even just make math real simple, a million hit, it will reduce it by 50% on top of any other cooldown. So this would stack with your defensives, and that 1 million hit that you would take would instead be dealt to you at 50%. So you'll take 500k instantly, and then you would take the other 500k as a dot. You would take 500k straight away from a million hit, and then the other 500k would be dealt as a 10.4 second dot on you that you have to deal with. So essentially a stagger from a Brewmaster Monk that we have to clear. Except that we don't have any way to clear this, except you just have to heal through it. Okay, so a massive hit like that, and imagine a tank defensive on top of that, another 40% DR on that big million hit. And then you can see just how potent this ability actually is, and you think about the ramifications of using defensives, your armor, and everything like that. And then you just think, oh, wow, that's actually insane. Yeah, it is, because you can heal through it with self-heals, absorptions, temporal anomalies, echo reversions into, verdant embrace, insta big heals to top your tank on. So there's always a situation that's insane where it can be used. Flow state and power spell causes time to flow 5% faster for you, increasing movement speed, cooldown recharge rate, and cast speed last 10 seconds. So the empower spells, so basically stuff like Spiritbloom, which you see how it says here 9,500 mana underneath green, and it says 2.8 seconds in power, 30-second cooldown. You see that, Dad?
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's an empower spell. So when you use that, you get this ability called Flow State, which is a passive, which makes everything 5% faster for you, increasing movement speed, like I said, cooldown, recharge rate, and cast speed last 10 seconds. That's insane. And if you get 2 points in that, that's 10%, but we're only going to get 1 point into that. There, you got this one in here. You can actually make your time dilation just a little bit more powerful. Delay harm. Time dilation now delays 70% of the damage taken if you wanted to. Time dilation cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds each time you cast an essence ability. So an essence ability would essentially be your echoes. So you see how underneath bronze, it's a bronze spell, 2 essence.
Yeah.
Because you cast an essence ability, it reduces the cooldown of your time dilation. So that 1 minute cooldown could essentially go down to about 30 seconds. You know,
right.
Bloody strong, right?
So you do the just in time, you reckon, on that one?
Well, if you wanted to. Honestly, I would just steer clear of it.
Leave it,
Yeah, I don't go to it. 1 minute's really, really strong. People just don't understand like how strong 1 minute actually is. You don't need it up all the time. Obviously, you need to have that all the time. Your tank's just not very, very good at all. In which case, you would probably take Lay Harm or maybe just in time. Like, they're both just good options. Now we have a look down here. Now we have an awesome spell called Golden Hour. I have not covered this yet, but have a look at Reversion. All right, 6,250. Bear in mind, Reversion is another bronze spell. And remember when I said with Temporal Compression, each cast of a bronze spell causes your next empower spell to reach maximum level in 5% less times, taking up to 4 times. So Echo and Reversion is already 2 bronze spells, and then you're already casting your next essence. Your next empower spell, basically 10% in 10% less time. All right, so you've already sped up your Spiritbloom just by casting Echo and Reversion. It's pretty quick. Anyway, back to Reversion. So let's read this. Repair an ally's injuries, healing them for 27,000 over 15.6 seconds. When Reversion critically heals, its duration is extended. But what's better is it has direct correlation with this one, Golden Hour. So now, Reversion instantly heals the target for 15% of the damage taken in the last 5 seconds. Now that is incredibly potent. Okay, and it used to be even stronger when it would ignore the value of your Echo, right? It would ignore this, regardless. It doesn't care. So it would always ignore it. Now it takes into consideration your Echo. And what quality Echo you get from delivering it with Temporal Anomalies, and it's now more potent based on whether you're using the regular Echo or not. But before, it used to completely ignore that. Still, with the changes, it has been fixed, so Reversion instantly healing you for 15% of the damage taken in the last 5 seconds is affected now by Echo, but we'll have a look at this again. So I'm going to deliberately take some damage. We're going to fly up in the air. And just, all of a sudden my wings aren't working, guys. Oh, look how much damage I just took. And then, bang. But now, even better, Echo, Reversion. Look, see how it doesn't do anything because that was already taken 5 seconds. So let's do this again. We'll take some more damage.
Echo,
all again.
Reversion, it's just ticking.
All right, so now, Echo, Reversion. And now you can see how the Golden Hour just doubled. We just got two golden hours off for 35,714, and then the other one you can see how like the Echo matters here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the original one was this one without the Echo, and then this is the Echo result, the 5% better gained because I had an Echo on me. Remember, like it gives you 105% of normal healing, so that 5% increase. You can see it right there. So that's the good thing. And then here you do have like Reversion's now double ticking because we have Echo and Reversion, and now we've got 2 Reversions going on, and they both have each individual crits and extending their durations and stuff like that. And look, you always see one will be stronger than the other, and all this overhealing. And imagine all this overhealing here, and then we have Lifebind. So all that overhealing is now getting shifted to other allies when you use Vote and Embrace. So bear all that in mind. See how much correlation in between each one of these talents there is. And then we have, because we have Reversion here, we have Golden Hour. Golden Hour, 100% recommend going for, because it is just too strong to ignore. Okay. So we go down here. We have Punctuality. Reversion now has 2 charges. All right. So now you pick that up. Now you've got 2 of these. Okay. And it's so busted. Now we also have Timelord, and obviously we want to go Timelord because it's going to give us the big heal bonuses. Over here, we have a Lifebind, and Verdant Embrace temporarily bonds your life with an ally, causing your healing on either partner to heal damage. We know, we talked about that just before.
That Timelord one, that's amazing too.
Yeah, because it replicates 50% more healing.
That's crazy.
So you got that all going together. Another really often overlooked talent is Spiritual Clarity. Spiritbloom's cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. If we have a look at that, Spiritbloom, it's a 30-second cooldown. So just by immediately picking this up, you've just reduced the cooldown of your Spiritbloom to now 20 seconds. But another really cool thing is the alternate option, Empath. Spiritbloom increases your essence regeneration rate by 100% for 8 seconds. So whenever you cast Spiritbloom, whether it's empowered or not, you'll now increase your essence regeneration rate by 100%. Okay, so now your essences, which is used on your echoes, will be restored much quicker because you casted your Spiritbloom. We want to grab Emerald Communion. We know how strong that is. It's just strong in pretty much every single situation, especially when you're fighting the last boss of Quarter Stars and the boss is doing pulsating AoE damage. You can throw out a Temporal Anomaly, then a Verdant Embrace, which does your Call of Ysera. Alright, so let's say he's about to start his cast. We get a prepped with Temporal Anomaly, Verdant Embrace, into a 1-tick Dream Breath. Now everybody has an empowered Dream Breath, okay? And that's just going to keep them all up for a very long time because of the Call of Ysera. And we have another one, Exhilarating Burst here. So each time you gain Essence Burst, your critical healing is increased by 15% for 10 seconds. Really, really nice. Another cool thing is Emerald Communion. You have this ability to choose between Dreamwalker, and you're able to move while communing with the dream. So naturally, when you press this, you cannot move. Okay, so you cannot move as a default talent when you press Emerald Communion. It's not possible. If you do move, it cancels the ability. It doesn't work anymore. But there is a way around it, and I'll get to it in a sec. You can either, option 1, go for the safe option, Dreamwalker, and you're able to move while the spell is being casted, or channeled, sorry. Or you can go for the harder version, which is Emerald Communion, increases your maximum health by 20% for 15 seconds. So you think, okay, well, it's only my maximum health by 20%. That's not super important. Well, you'd be wrong, because if you have a look at here.
Huge.
It is. It's insane. Thank you. Commune with the Emerald Dream, restoring 20% health. Let's read that for a sec. 20% health. And 2% mana every 0.9 seconds for 4.4 seconds. And overhealing is transferred to an injured. So it's 20% of your health. Your max health is increased by 20% for 15 seconds when you press it. By going that talent. So Rush of Vitality. You're like, okay, well, if I got Rush of Vitality, then I can't move, right? Well, you'd be wrong, because there's another spell. We'll have a look at it. It's called Hover. Okay. And a lot of people don't actually look at Hover. Launch yourself and gain 30% increased movement speed for 10 seconds. So it allows Evoker spells to be cast while moving and does not affect empowered spells. Okay, that does not affect empowered spells. Okay, that'd be good if we could do that, but we literally cannot. So what we say here is we go Hover and then Emerald Communion. Oh, what's going on here? My health is increased by 20% and I'm able to commune. But here, this talent says here you're able to move while communing with the dream. So wouldn't this talent be a waste if I were to pick Dreamwalker and just be able to move around just because I'm too lazy to press my ability hover. That makes sense?
Yeah, huge difference.
What a huge difference, hey? Not only are we able to move faster, we have 2 charges this due to this talent down here somewhere. Over here. Culver gains 1 additional charge, Aerial Mastery. So now we got 2 charges, so you can see like the power.
Goodness.
Yeah. So why would I ever go Dreamwalker? I'll even have a look at my original build. Yeah. See, I'd never go Dreamwalker. There's no point.
Yeah.
All right. So before I get off topic too much, like there is so much stuff that I need to cover in this guide, but suffice to say, Dreamwalker is essentially useless unless you're just lazy. Okay, so always go Rush of Vitality. You want to go hover, and then press your Emerald Communion, and it is essential for running this. Okay, so going down here, Call of Ysera, a must-have. Just take it. Why? Verdant Embrace increases the healing of your next Dream Breath by 40%, which is insane on its own right. Or your next Living Flame by 100%, which is okay if you want like an instant burst of healing, but it's always generally preferred to put it on Dream Breath because look at this. Renewing Breath. Dream Breath's healing is increased by 15%. Well, there's 2 points in that. 30%. So 30%, 40%, you get the gist. Just how strong it is. So let's have a look at this now. We got an Essence Attunement. The Essence burn stacks up to 2 times. I generally go this because it leads directly into Fire Breath heals a nearby injured ally for 40% of damage done, up to 5 targets.
Cool.
So we can go 2 points into this, which will give you 80% of the damage done up to 5 targets.
Wow.
All right, so that's insane. Living Flame and Fire Breath deal additional damage and healing equal to 1% of your maximum health. No correlation here or anything, right, guys? We wouldn't want to be using Emerald Communion and throwing out a Fire Breath now, would we? Pretty insane, right? So strong, hey. Timelord. Let's go over here, Punctuality. So now we're getting down to the really difficult parts of the trees, okay? So we've got some options opening up here. Now, I can explain every single situation that's kind of going on here. So let's have a look at some of the options. You're probably confused of what these do. And down here, let's have a quick look. So we do have option Time of Need. Time of Need, personally, I have never really used because I just don't feel like it's strong enough in comparison to other options that are available. But it is strong in a way, just not strong in a way that you might think. I can't go too much into detail about that one, but I generally just do not take it. So just forget about that one. Energy Loop. Disintegrate deals 20% more damage and generates 7,200 mana over its duration. Pretty good if you don't want to be sitting drinking throughout the whole key. All right.
Oh, 1,200 mana. That's going to help a lot, isn't it?
Well, 7,200 mana.
Oh, for you, yeah.
Yeah, but it's because of my level. All right, the more level I have, the more it does things. Now, we go down here. Now, remember I was talking about Reversion and how it heals 50% of the damage taken in the last 5 seconds? Well, let's have a look at this. Temporal Artificer. So, Rewind's cooldown is reduced by 60 seconds. So, it goes from a 4-minute cooldown down to a 3-minute cooldown. I generally do not go for Erasure because Rewind has 2 charges, but its healing is reduced by 50%. It is just too weak. In my opinion, it just go for the Temporal Artificer because its snipe potential is just too huge. And honestly, 4-minute cooldowns suck. Can we all agree on that? I do not like 4-minute cooldowns, so 3 minutes is a little bit better.
I'm already out of points on that sword. for me.
You're fine. I'm going to talk about the rest of these though. So, grace period. Your healing is increased by 5% on targets with your reversion. Oof. So, any target that has my reversion is getting 5%. Ooh, 10% more healing. All right, so 10%. That's really strong. We have another rework here. I can't remember exactly what the original Ouroboros used to do, but the new one is pretty good. So now casting Echo grants 1 stack of Ouroboros. So it increases the healing of your next Emerald Blossom by 30%, stacking up to 5 times. Now, I haven't really played around very much with this, but it's a massive new kill that heals a heap of players. There's a lot of cross synergy with Fluttering Seedlings and Field of Dreams and going into Cycle of Life. So every 3 Emerald Blossoms leaves behind a tiny sprout, gathers 15% of your healing over 10 seconds, and the sprout then heals allies within 30 yards, divided evenly among targets. All right, so that's a really strong heal. Cycle of Life. And now going over here, we do have another option. So Font of Magic. Your empowered spells maximum level is increased by 1. So you see, you have a look at Spiritbloom. It's like heals 1 ally, 2 heals 2nd ally, 3 heals a 3rd ally. But if you go into this, now all of a sudden it would say heals a 4th ally. Not bad. So that's a really strong choice. It also improves your Dream Breath over here. So option 3 can now turn into an option 4. So further doing more instant healing. And again, another reduced duration of your heart. Something like that, because it improves its maximum level by 1. Another one over here, Power Nexus. Increase your maximum essence to 6. Now, increasing your maximum essence to 6 is a really strong spell because it allows you to cast out more echoes if you're not so strong into Temporal Anomaly. But honestly, it still has very good correlation. You just kind of got to track the differences between like your weaker anomalies, your weaker echoes cast from Resonating Sphere versus your strong echoes, because of your essences and shit going out to just really maximize your total effectiveness. Now, we do have some other talents I do want to talk about and cover before I finish up with this tree. Spark of Insight. Consuming a full Temporal Compression grants you Essence Burst. Now, what is Essence Burst, you may ask? Okay, well, Essence Burst is this. Okay, so Spark of Insight grants you this. And you're like, okay, you may ask yourself, well, how do I get that? Well, you gotta consume a full Temporal Compression. What's a Temporal Compression? Well, it's over here. Temporal Compression. You have to consume this. So each cast of a bronze spell causes your next Empower spell. So now we know how do we consume it. That answers it right there. Causes your next Empower spell to reach maximum level in 5% less time, second up 4 times. So whenever you do a Spiritbloom or if you do like a Dream Breath, regardless if it's level 1 or level 3, it's consuming your Temporal Compression. So when you consume that Temporal Compression, you get an Essence Burst. And now over here, the little tricky thing is Essence Attunement, and Essence Burst stacks up to 2 times. Hence why in a lot of other YouTube guides and stuff like that, you'll see people saying pooling your essences or your Essence Burst stacks so that you can spend them on essential spells and stuff like that, like echoes, to get them out and do stuff. It's really, really cool. And having a maximum essences increased to 6 allows for better play. But we'll get to that. So that's why I go Spark of Insight and then we go into Renewing Breath. But we've run out of points. All right, so now we've got to ditch some points. And we're going to start thinking about scenarios of where this is important and what we need to ditch to move on. So when you want to get to the bottom of the tree, I generally would recommend going for Timeless Magic. Okay, Timeless Magic in the stasis is something that's incredible. So for now, and we want to have something really strong. I'll see what I did with my original build. Yeah, we ditched a couple of points and we ditched the Renewing Breath for the Mythic Plus build that I have. So that we just going for maximum damage here. I'm going for Energy Loop, not for the mana return, although it's a good bonus. I'm going for Energy Loop because I'm going to do a lot more damage. And also over here, Reversion, Time Dilation, and Echo lasts 30% longer. You can see how the initial Time Dilation lasts, I think, 7 odd seconds. 6 seconds. Dad, you're looking at this. What's it say for you?
Mine says 8 seconds.
Yeah, so 8 seconds improved to 10.4 seconds with your time dilation just by this timeless magic spell. So a whole 10 seconds of dealing with that big 500k hit that I was talking about before.
That's a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah, so your echoes also last 30% longer with this timeless magic spell, which is why it's so potent. And then even better, you have reversion lasting 30% longer. And then when a reversion critical heals, its duration is extended by 1.8 seconds. So you can see how everything's just working so well within each other to create this beast of a healer. Okay? Your empower spells increased maximum level is increased by 1. Font of Magic is really strong when you start thinking about it's not just your heals that get empowered. Font of Magic also buffs your stuff to do over here with your Leaping Flames. And Fire Breath causes your next Living Flame to strike 1 additional target per empower level. So because Fire Breath default, if we go and have a look at our Fire Breath, I'm pretty sure we get that as not as a talent but as default. Default by itself, without the extra empower, it goes up to 3. So dealing 40,101 damage instantly and 20,000 over 12 seconds if you look at the third one down. But then you see how now it's got 4. We can now spread our Living Flame, which is our other spell, out to, well, as our talent states, 1 additional target per empower level. So your Living Flame will hit 1 guy, but then because you channeled your Flame Breath to a 4 empower level, that Living Flame will now spread to 1 additional target per empower level, meaning that your Leaping Flames spell will make your Living Flame hit 5 targets in total, which is huge damage. So we'll put that in action right now and just give you a bit of an idea of just how much damage you can do in an opening of a pack. So I have a little cheeky spell here I'm going to show off. And you're like, oh, how'd you instantly cast it on max? Okay, so let's have a look at Tip the Scales. So Tip the Scales. Compress time to make your next empowered spell cast instantly at its maximum empower level. So what I just described is essentially your Fire Breath is instant cast at its maximum empower level. So when I do this, it's going to be very fast and you'll be like, what the? You ready?
Yep.
All right, so Tip the Scales, Flame Breath, and done. How much damage I just did. So the initial opening of a pack, and obviously we can subtract our Storm Infused Stone 88k and Desirous Bloodstone by 20k because that's my pre-patch content stuff. Not even maxed out. I know. I didn't even bother maxing it out because I don't care. But have a look at that. So Flame Breath instantly did all that damage, and then Living Flame compensated right there and did an additional 32% of my damage, leading to, as soon as the tank runs into that pack, an instant 100k damage burst. I did nearly 1 million damage in like a split second.
That is crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, so I'm already moved on with, like, I'm not even talking about healing rotations or anything. I'm already moving on to damage. It's just what makes Evoker so much fun.